Hi everyone, good afternoon. Um, Today I want to talk about rest. So it goes on a little bit of what I talked about last week when I talked about celebration and not being able to stop working for a second and just celebrate your victories, whether big or small. But of course, related to that is taking a break from work and resting. Um, so last weekend, yeah, I don't know if you hear it, but I'm a little like my throat is sore. I got a cold. Last weekend I spent mostly in my PJs, working. Shh, don't tell anyone. But I was in my PJs. So I'm trying, but I had stuff to do. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then I found the quote last night, and I've seen that on my Facebook feed, and of course I believe that, when things keep showing up, that means, learn the fucking lesson. So the thing that kept showing up, and I think it's a quote from Banksy, but I've seen it in so many formats that I'm not sure whether it is a Banksy quote, but I'm always very much about, give credit where it's due. So it could be Banksy, that's the one name that I see underneath it sometimes. And that is, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. And why that every time I see it, it strikes me. And not necessarily because of my own situation, because I should learn how to quit things. Like, I can go on and on and on and on, and then, in hindsight 2020, in hindsight I'm often like, yeah, I should have, pulled the plug on that, like, eons ago. But so I often go on for way too long. But what I see around me a lot, and especially now with it being NaNoWriMo, everybody starts out very enthusiastic, like, we're gonna do this and woo, and as the days, go by, people become more quiet. Some people give up entirely, and I think that that's sort of what the quote, for me, what the quote speaks to is that often, when we want to do something and when we have a passion for something, we just go at it. And then, of course, we get tired, we burn out, because what I do absolutely is I forget to take care of myself. Because all I see is where I want to be. So I just go on and I go on. Don't take the necessary breaks. As I discussed last week, I don't celebrate when I should. So I just go on. And then, you end up getting sick. That's like, I always have that. Like, in my craziest periods, I always get a cold. And what does that mean? I didn't eat healthy enough. I didn't take enough rest. I didn't sleep enough. Who needs sleep? Everyone needs sleep. I need a lot of sleep to stay healthy. But in periods in which it's really busy, I forget about sleep altogether. So that's what I wanted to talk like. So you can say that. You can say something like, okay, well, if you get tired, learn to rest, not quit. But how do you learn to rest? Because for me, like, I've been struggling with this for years, and I still haven't figured it out. And it's funny because, as you know, like, I'm into my cards, so I pulled another card from the Sovereign Oracle, like, just a minute before I pushed the button to go live. It's sort of asking, like, okay, so what should be the focus? And I got this one. I don't know if you can read it. I never know whether it flips. So it's the Order card. So it's about organizing. And of course, one of the things for me is that I have trouble saying no. Mostly because I love lots of things. So when people come to me, I'm often like, oh yeah, that sounds like fun, and that's something that I want to do. So I have a trouble saying no. And the thing that I've grown into in the past few years is that I stopped saying no to stuff that only costs me time but doesn't get me anything in return. So free projects, for example, I only do the stuff that's really close to my heart. Like, I stopped saying yes to projects that don't give me anything back in terms of whatever, like visibility or money, or I stopped doing that altogether. Because I simply don't have time for that anymore. But this Order one, like, so one of the things I don't even know how to say. I don't even like. This is a deep issue for me. Apparently, I don't even know how to talk about it. One of the things that I don't do often enough is look at my planner and schedule my projects. So what I have at the moment is I have a lot of projects that are up in the air. Like, I have clients and I know what they're working on, and I know they want me to work on that thing. So either that's a fiction book they need edited, it's either a ghostwriting project, they're working on a website, they need me to check to copyright or to check their copy, so to edit their work. So it's all up in the air. So I started making a list of all the projects that I know that are coming my way, although I have absolutely no idea. Like, some projects were due last July, and I have no idea like where the author's at. So that's what I have. So I made a list. And then I made a list of all the things that I know are coming. And I started like putting the like sort of, okay, so this is this project. This will take me so many hours. Okay, this is this project. This will take me so many hours. And I started putting that down in my schedule, like in my planner. And what I realized is that I have this massive list of projects that are coming. But with the projects that actually have dates on them, I'm already overbooked. And that just hit me, because this makes so much sense why my head doesn't stop working. Because I'm holding up so many things at the same time. Like, I'm juggling so many things, and most of which I have no idea when they'll land in my lap. It's no wonder that my mind's always buzzing, and I don't slow down and don't take a break and don't breathe. Because there's so much going on. So I started to do a few things. Some of the people I emailed saying, so how's the project going? When do you think it'll be? Because this is what my planning looks like. Like, basically, when I say fully booked, what I mean is, like, I can do small things, but if you have like a whole book that I need to do, no, I cannot take that on at the moment. So I'm booked until at least the 1st of February, maybe later. And I have this other big project in the air, which is great. I mean, it's really good news for my business, but it sort of was very confronting to me that I say yes to so many things, but I have no idea. I don't take this second step and see if I can actually do it. And I think that feeds into why I don't take rest, because even now, I already know that when there's a little small thing, I'll be like, yeah, I can do that in the weekend. But what I'm trying to do is not do so much in the weekends, so that I can sort of, replenish myself, get some rest, fill my own cup. And I'm already in that mindset. Well, if something comes up and I really want to do it, I can probably do it in the weekend. Or if you do finish your novel, I can probably do it in the weekends. And that's something that I'm really struggling with. And I can only imagine that I'm not the only one. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to learn how to rest? Like, how are we going to learn? Because I think the reason why we need to learn to rest is precisely because of that quote. If you don't rest enough, what will happen, or what might happen, is that you get so burned out that you just give up altogether. Like, the only thing you'll do then is, the only thing you want to do is, crawl under your blankets, curl up in a fetal position, and just pretend like the world isn't even there. And I think that's a situation. I mean, it's not bad if that happens once sometimes we need that. But I would say that mostly that's a situation that we want to avoid. So how do we learn how to rest? I haven't, same with the celebration, I haven't figured that one out yet. I haven't figured this one out either. But this is definitely something that I want to work on. And for myself, I'm thinking I need to force myself to have like one day in the week that just like, there's nothing that I do. Even if it's just a Saturday, it's a Sunday, or a Sunday. I'm really used to working 7 days a week. And that's also, and that's another quote that always keeps coming up, that I always see on Facebook, is like, we have to stop the glorification of being busy. And that's one of the things that let's be honest, it's one of the things that I take sort of pride in, that I'm always busy, that I'm always working, that I'm always being productive, doing something useful and constructive. And that is definitely something that I want to unlearn. Like I want to not be so busy all the time, so I don't get colds in the most inconvenient of weeks. Because the upcoming week is a week when I'll have to perform a lot, so I cannot stay home in my PJs and just, type away a little bit while no one's bothering me and while I'm sipping my cold Rex. I cannot do it. Like, I have to be out and about and I have to do things and I have to meet people. So this is for me, this is a conversation that will continue. Like, how do we, in this day and age where the stress is about, going on, like, this is the goal, just keep working towards the goal. How could we sometimes take a little break so that we can rest, replenish, breathe, most of all, breathe. So as not to lose ourselves in the process, but also to keep track of our health, like physically, but also mentally. So that once we end up at that goal, we're not completely drained. And just need to sleep for like months, which is how I'm feeling right now. So yeah, this is a continuing conversation. If you have anything, tips, struggles, whatever, tell me, send me a message or leave a message in the comments. Because I really think this is a conversation that we need to have. Not just for writers, but for people, like for the people I see around me in general. Okay. Thanks for listening. I have to go. I told you, lots of performance today. I have to run. Okay. Thanks. See you next week.